Hi everyone, today I'm joined by Darrel Rowe, agronomist with PGG Wrightson. Okay, Darrel, could you just comment briefly on the different sowing techniques and options available for farmers in that area?
Yeah, Ruairi, there's a lot of options that people use, and it comes down to the equipment as well as contractors. But certainly for full cultivation, for setting up a perennial stand is certainly the preferred option if that's possible.
Yeah.
But for various range of reasons regarding soil type or soil moisture, oversowing through drilling in is one of the preferred options.
Obviously a bit cheaper as well.
Yeah, certainly cheaper per hectare. It does come at there is some problems with that occasionally if they're on top of their weed burdens or haven't sprayed. We always want them to check with their local agronomist for weed identification and spray rates, but can really get you up and back into the game very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of broadcasting just purely because seed to soil contact isn't always made.
Yeah.
One of the big tips I always have is regardless of whether you're at full cultivation or oversowing is that you always roll those paddocks because it makes a big difference by the time
that
you're
seed
hitting
to soil contact. Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's all about getting it as tight as possible, and that'll give it the best chance of getting up. So in a way.
Yeah. Darrel, just ask you to comment briefly as well on the timing of sowing of the various species that are available, as well as maybe seed treatment.
The ryegrasses generally we can start sowing from the 1st of March. A lot of annuals will go in then, followed by Italians, and then the perennials a little bit later. Obviously we can still sow a lot of those annuals still late into the season.
Yeah.
A lot of the other type grasses, fescues and that, the earlier we can get them in the better, but it doesn't always work that way just around what moisture is available as well. So they are a lot slower coming through. Certainly cereals can go in early and they can also go in late. You've got that flexibility, and but otherwise if you're chasing quick feed, brassicas have to go in early and sort of have to be in by the end of April, otherwise they'll start going through that cold spell and won't produce any leaf or any dry matter. So they're an option for early feed. There's a whole range of options. Some of the cereals can be sown dry, and certainly leading on to treated seed is a really good option for dry sowings because it gives you that stress shield against moisture and also that insect protection and just cheap insurance over the whole paddock.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, Darrel, what's the recommendation in terms of spraying out paddocks before cultivation?
Well, certainly it's to get on top of those weeds that might be present. It's sort of have a correct identification, see what those to make sure your target species can get the best chance coming through. It's really good to consult with a local agronomist to get those spray rates right and to allow the seed to get up and away and beat those summer weeds or
have no competition from
and really reduce the chance of weed infestation in winter as well.
Yeah,
well, certainly sowing fertiliser is a must. Startup fertiliser is very, very important just to give that plant the best chance to get out of the ground and going. So we recommend, sort of like a minimum of 100 kilos of DAP or MAP, depending on what you're sowing. So that'll certainly give you a period of time to get it bounce out of the ground, get ahead of the game. And later on, once that fertiliser has started to fade out a little bit from sowing, you can look at using your nitrogen to manipulate your pasture after the grazings to get the best out of it. With some of the newer species, there's certainly a greater response to the nitrogen than the older type species. And if you want your grass to perform the best, that's one tool you can use to your advantage.
And I guess briefly touching on soil testing, I would recommend that in most cases as well to establish the fertility of the pasture, the soil before.
Soil testing is very important because, as we know, there's certain limitations that around legumes that can be around rhizobia fixation or low pH can cause problems with that. It's a really good place to know where you're starting off from as a really good base, and then move forward from there. Otherwise, it's chasing your tail, trying to catch it up. Otherwise.
Darrel, just could you comment briefly on the insect burden and the importance of that when you're renovating pastures?
Well, it's really important that you assess what insects are likely to be in the paddock and get on top of those, get a correct identification to enable your pasture to get the best establishment possible. We're here in Leongatha South. I just noticed a couple of species operating around here, which is the stem weevil, which can cause quite a lot of problems with ryegrass. So it's looking at using treated seed will give you the best starter, and once again it's that cheap insurance. But also contact your local agronomist around the spray options that are available to that existing pasture that you've oversown as well.
Tapping into the local knowledge, I guess, is important.
Absolutely, and that's very important.
Okay, thanks very much for your time, Darrel. For more information, please check out the Dairy Australia website or indeed talk to your local agronomist to get more details on this topic.